Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.
You have been bound, the man said slowly, his voice steady. Not by what people have done alone, but by forces that entered through rejection, through words spoken over you, through wounds that were never healed. You have felt them at night, the man continued. You have felt the weight, the presence, the fear without explanation. Tears streamed down his face, uncontrollable, because every word was true, every single one. He started feeling a sweet presence cover him. Dave becomes visible. Suddenly the atmosphere shifted. It wasn't something everyone could see, but many could feel it.
I'm happy.
Especially Dave. The presence of God surrounded Dave. And for the first time in his life he was happy, really happy. Tears of joy streaming down his face. Suddenly, the air grew heavier, thicker, like pressure before a storm. Dave clutched his chest. That familiar weight, the one he had carried for years, began to intensify. But this time, it wasn't just there. It was moving. His breathing became shallow. His thoughts raced. A surge of fear hit him like a wave. Not anxiety. Something deeper, darker. He saw creepy shadows again. The confrontation begins. Don't be afraid, the pastor said firmly, stepping closer. What has been hidden all your life is being brought into the light tonight. Dave wanted to run from the shadows. He felt fear again, but the Spirit of God held him. Every instinct in Dave's body screamed at him to leave, to escape, to get out. But something stronger held him. Ethan gently placed a hand on his shoulder. It's okay, he whispered. You're not alone. Those words, you're not alone. They hit something deep inside him. Something that had been buried for years. The breaking point. Dave suddenly dropped to his knees. Not by choice, but as if the weight inside him had become too much to carry. Darkness still fighting to control him, to bind him with chains again. His hands trembled. His whole body shook.
What's happening to me?
I don't understand, he cried out. What's happening to me? The pastor knelt beside him and said, what you've carried since childhood is being exposed, and it cannot stay once truth comes. The darkness does not want to let go of you yet. Dave squeezed his eyes shut, not sure what to do anymore. The man of God kneeling beside him comforted him, saying, do not fear, my child. Let it all out. God is fighting your battle. And then, that's when it happened. The inner vision for a brief moment. Everyone around him leaving. He felt as though he was going back to being alone. He was scared of being alone again. Dave thought everyone is leaving him, and in their place, darkness. But not empty darkness. The darkness has shadows moving, shifting, twisting around him. The pastor continued to comfort him. And within the darkness, he felt something familiar. The same presence from his childhood nights. The same heaviness. The same fear. But now it was clearer. Closer. The voice confronted. Then came the voice. Not outside, but inside his mind, then coming out of his mouth. You can't run, Dave, it said. Sharper than ever before. But inside his mind, the voice continued. You belong to this. You've always belonged to this. Dave's heart raced. Dave found himself standing in darkness. Deep, echoing atmosphere, shadows moving around him.
You are not unwanted, you are not forgotten, you are not alone, you belong to this. No.
But a little light broke through the darkness above Dave, and he whispers,
You belong to this.
No, no.
You were rejected.
He whispered
from the beginning.
weakly,
No one wanted you.
but the
You
voice
are
pressed
ours.
harder. You were rejected from the beginning.
From the beginning.
No one wanted you.
You belong to
You
this.
are ours. Dave's
You were
body
rejected
tensed.
from the beginning. No one wanted
Tears
you.
poured
You are
down
ours.
his face. For years he had
You were
believed those
rejected from
thoughts
the
were his
beginning.
own.
No one wanted
He
you.
realized
You
that they
belong to this.
weren't.
No.
Dave snaps back to reality and drops to his knees, inhaling deeply. with tears but different now. He softly said, "I don't want this anymore." He again felt God's peace upon him. The turning moment. Back in the physical room, the pastor spoke again. Firm. Unwavering. "You have believed lies that were planted in your pain," he said. "But tonight, those lies are breaking. The resistance. But the moment that light pressed in Dave, the darkness pushed back. Hard. Suddenly, Dave found himself in darkness. His body jerked slightly. His breathing became erratic. The weight in his chest tightened, almost painfully. He cried out, "I can't. It's too much." He repeated. The pastor touched him, said calmly,
You're not fighting alone.
"Stay with me, you're not fighting alone," assuring him again so he wouldn't be afraid. People in the room began to pray softly, not loudly, not chaotically, but with a steady, grounded intensity. And that atmosphere, it began to change things. The lost sheep found. The pastor turns to the congregation and says, "The lost sheep has been found," just as the Lord Jesus preaches in Luke 15:4. "What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost, until he find it?"
What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost, until he find it?
Not slowly but suddenly, like something had been removed, torn away. He fell forward, catching himself with his hands, breathing heavily. The fear that had gripped him for years was gone, not reduced, not quieter. Gone. The aftermath. The room felt different now. Lighter, calmer. Dave stayed on the floor for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. I feel... He started, his voice trembling. He searched for the word. Something he had never truly felt before. Free. Tears came again. But this time, they weren't from pain. A new beginning. The pastor smiled gently. "What has held you no longer has authority over you," he said. Dave looked up, his eyes clearer than they had ever been. For the first time in 15 years, the heaviness was gone. The voice was silent. The darkness had no hold. And in its place, there was something new, something warm, steady, alive. The Spirit of God within him. The pastor turns to Dave, smiling gently, and said, "The Lord Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, Come unto me, all that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." That was Dave's first deliverance session. Dave felt the presence of God, comforting, no longer alone. He had an assurance that God was with him, not useless as everyone said. The first night after, Dave didn't say much on the way home. Ethan walked beside him, gently talking, but he could barely focus on the words. Everything felt different. It took him a while to get comfortable to his new feelings. After a while, Dave got used to his new atmosphere. The air felt lighter. His body felt lighter. Even the way his feet touched the ground felt unfamiliar, like he wasn't dragging something heavy behind him anymore. He felt complete joy from the Lord. When he finally got home, the house was the same. Same walls, same silence, same dim lighting. But for the first time in his life, it didn't feel overwhelming. He stood in the middle of his room, looking around slowly, waiting, almost expecting that old feeling to creep back in. That heaviness, that presence, that fear. But it didn't come. The silence that wasn't empty. That night, Dave lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. This had always been the hardest time. The moment when the darkness used to press in the most. He braced himself out of habit. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Nothing. No fear, no tightness in his chest. No sense of something watching him. Just peaceful quiet. But feeling was not the empty, lonely quiet he was used to. This was different. The feeling of God's presence surrounding him. No fear, no pain. This felt peaceful. Dave swallowed hard, and for the first time he whispered something he had never said before. God? His voice trembled slightly. He didn't know what to expect. But deep inside, he felt something gentle. Not a voice. Not words, but God's presence. The presence felt warm, steady, and safe. Tears slipped down the sides of his face as he closed his eyes. And for the first time in 15 years, Dave fell asleep without fear. The next morning, when Dave woke up, something else surprised him. He didn't feel dread. Usually, mornings came with a heavy sense of having to get through the day. But this time, there was a lightness and a quiet curiosity within him. What will today feel like? He wondered, sitting up slowly, almost cautious, like the feeling might disappear if he moved too quickly. But it stayed. School, the first test, walking into school felt strange. The same hallways, the same people, the same faces that had ignored him for years. Nothing about Dave changed outwardly, but inside, he was a complete new creation. A boy filled with the peace of God. At his locker, a familiar group of boys walked past. Normally, Dave would look down immediately, avoiding any chance of interaction. But this time, he didn't. Not out of defiance. Just naturally. One of the boys glanced at him briefly, and something unexpected happened. He didn't laugh. He didn't make a comment, he just kept walking. Dave blinked, confused. It was small, but it felt significant. Something others could sense. Throughout the day, subtle things began to happen. Good, she replied, giving a small smile before moving on. Dave sat there stunned. That had never happened before. Later at lunch, as he sat at his usual spot alone, someone from his class hesitated nearby. Hey, is this seat taken? The boy asked. Dave looked up, surprised, and said, no. The boy sitting at Dave's table began a conversation. It was short, a little awkward, but real. And as simple as it was, it felt like a crack in the old pattern. Understanding the change, that evening, Dave returned to the church, not because someone told him to, but because something in him wanted to. The same pastor who had spoken the night before saw him and smiled. You came back, he said. Dave nodded. I just felt like talking to you and to thank you for your help the other day. Dave said, I don't feel the same anymore, Dave admitted. It's like something or a heavy weight is gone. I don't feel haunted or scared anymore. The pastor's expression softened. Because it is, he said gently. What held you lost vanished when truth entered. Dave hesitated and said, so it wasn't just in my head? No, the pastor said firmly. Dave felt relief wash over him. So it was not his fault at all. All his life, he was always blamed for being strange. But listen carefully. What happened to you is not just about something leaving. He leaned slightly closer. It's about something new beginning. God has germinated the seed that is deep in your soul. The devil knew you were God's son. That's why he wanted to destroy you.
Hello, viewers. Thank you for watching episode 2 of Dave's life. The Lord Jesus says in Luke 4:18, The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. If you are watching the story and you can relate to it, then find courage in the fact that God is still writing your story and he will help you. He is not done yet. So don't give up. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and he will sustain you. Please subscribe to this channel for more exciting videos. God bless you all.